The rat, the guard come to see you. No respect for Israel, you criminal. Set the colony. You hate me because I'm speaking the truth. You try to silence me.
I believe in my God and in my gun. And you say, well, you don't really believe in God. If you believe in the gun, I believe in God and my gun. And I pray that you will bless you. When it's time to shoot, when it's time to shoot,
Peace to the gods. Peace to the gods. What's going on, good family? What's going on out there? Hope y'all having a good day today. You know, a godly day. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know the last broadcast, we actually, had some problems with the weather. So I made sure that the weather is good out this way. You know what I mean? So I also got in touch with my connection with the internet and everything like that. But we ain't gonna worry about this today. We're just gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it good. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep that information going, that good information. So we had to bring it back. Got my brother right back in here again, because he pretty much got cut off. Can't let information get cut off. We can't do that. We can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So we're bringing him back to finish up. I feel like we was having a real good conversation last time, really, about the Willie Lynch theory and things like that. This brother said Black lives don't matter. And, I'm going to agree. It don't. It don't. I hope y'all was paying attention last time on why it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So, we talking about, well, of course, we're not a crayon. That's number one. And then number two, we're talking about in a courtroom, guess what? You don't even mean anything in a courtroom. So at the end of the day, why are we calling ourselves that? But we're going to get more into that today. Peace to the God, shalom. Everybody out there, I'm going to let more people come in. Come into the room, share the feed, share it, like it, keep commenting. Let's change the algorithms. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it in today. Let's see. I see y'all coming on in. And matter of fact, we might as well, I feel like just going to get started. I just want to come to conversation. If people miss it, so down, what are we doing waiting? You know what I'm saying? People miss the information, just hit rewind, So we're going to get into it. I already got my brother already here. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and bring him in. Yes, sir. Peace to the guys, brother. Peace to the God.
Peace to the God. Peace to the God. Great brother, great brother, great brother. How we doing this evening?
Oh, we all good, brother. We all good. It's a beautiful day out this way. I'm feeling good too. So last time I was a little bit under the weather, but now, I'm good. I'm good to go. Good to go, brother. So I was just listening. I had to re-listen to the last one you did. You was really dropping some gems, some things that I already knew and thought about, but some things I didn't really think about. And I know we got cut off at the end, which is I didn't like. I feel like you was really homing in on the conclusion and things like that on where we should go, what we should do overall as a people, but yeah, I want you, whatever hits your mind today, if you want to finish that, perfect, so just want to get into that. Indeed.
You get that greatness finish?
So yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a quick cut, I had to get the front yard together.
You said that you reminded me when I was a young brother cutting grass in Atlanta, Georgia. We lived in a place that had 5 acres. And man, it would take me the weekend to cut up everything with the lawnmower. We didn't have a riding mower. I begged and begged my mother to buy a riding mower. She wouldn't do it, you know. The best she did, she bought me a push self-propel mower where, you know, it'll pull the front wheels itself. But she never got me that. She never got me that riding mower because she said, "No, I want to make you lazy." Yeah. I said, "Mom, I ain't gonna be lazy."
I mean, you get a good exercise with that, you know. Yeah, but I actually got something like that. That's what I did the front yard with. I got one that I can just push, go back and forth, so I'm getting my exercise at the same time. But it's not a huge, it's not acres or anything like that. So, you know, but yeah, I'm getting my little exercise on. I'm just pushing it back and forth. It's one of them old school joints. I mean, I like those, you know, personally. You know, I don't have to smell like gas and stuff like that.
You talking about the one with the two big wheels? You talking about the one with the two big wheels on the side and the blade?
Yeah, it got two wheels on the sides, and then it got the little wheel cutter in the middle. You just pushing back and forth, stuff like that. Yep. Right. You got a little attachment for the bag in the back. So I got it through Amazon. They sent it on through.
Brand new? Yep. Brand new. It was.
It's brand new. Yeah.
Wow. Man, I ain't seen those in years.
Yeah, that's old too. It worked just like the electric ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's real old.
Get no muscles. You know what I mean?
You know,
yeah.
We had one years ago. You know what I mean? That was so many years ago. And that's where we cut the grass out there, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, you know, doing stuff like that is what just naturally kept you in shape. And then, you know, when I was younger, little boy, you didn't see a lot of fat people, you know, because of two things. The food was more natural back then, and we did stuff like that. True. You know, trim hedges with hedge clippers. And we cut grass with those, you know, manual. A lot of stuff we did, just the physical movement of taking care of the house and painting and doing all kind of stuff kept us in shape, you know. And the food, you know, that was no multi-billion-dollar diet industry. It wasn't no multi-billion-dollar, you know, gym exercise facilities. And wasn't nobody fat.
Right.
And then today, we got multi-billion-dollar exercise facilities, all kind of fancy gyms and incredible health food stores and all kind of food, and everybody fat is all get out. And, you know, last studies I read, it said that over more than 51% of the U.S. citizens are obese to morbid obese. But we got multi-billion-dollar everything. And big as all get out. Good God Almighty. But anyway,
yeah,
I want to say thank you again, brother, for
I put that on technology.
Yep, and all this genetically engineered, chemically biogenetic engineered stuff they call food, but actually not. But I want to say thank you again, great brother, to you know, for allowing me to come back and speak a little bit to our people. And believe it or not, I've gotten a lot of conversation behind Black Lives Don't Matter. That shook the house up, but not as much as Nas X in his video. No, but
man.
I have comments.
That's a whole nother. Yeah, I could talk about that, you know, for hours. As far as the imagery and what's going on with that, I feel like hip hop just need one troll a year or something like that. You know what I mean? They just have one troll in there. You know, at some point they had 6ix9ine. Now we got this guy. You know, and then when he's gone, we're gonna have another one and another one. You know what I'm saying? So, Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, that's what's going on in the States, man. I'm not sure what's going on out in Israel like that, you know. But yeah,
Give me
that's
1
crazy.
second. Let me
Nah, you good. You good. I mean, just speaking on that, just not that long ago, he was that young fella, Nas X, he was actually he was marketing towards a lot of children, you know what I'm saying? Like he used to be on tours and going to like different schools, elementary schools and stuff like that around when the song was hot, that Old Town Road, you know. And my daughter loved that song. So if she was to actually look him up and then see what he doing, you know what I mean? Like I ain't watched the video. I just heard about it. But I mean he giving lap dances, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm like, whoa, you know, after I heard all that, I'm like, I don't even want to see it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's almost like it's being targeted. I mean, we shouldn't be, you know, surprised, you know, when they target our children on these different characters and different things. So I feel like certain things are just done strategically. And we just have to be aware of what's really going on and not really feed into that stuff, you know. But maybe that's on the realm of what we're talking about when it comes to this Willie Lynch thing as well. You know what I mean? So you know, because I feel like even he's trying to battle. Well, there's people saying that he's trying to basically be a troll because people are basically attacking him because of his lifestyle and stuff like that. But you know, yeah, it just seemed like an interesting conversation. You know, just due to you know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So, like the type of imagery that he putting out there, the messages, things like that. You know? So, but yeah,
few people asked me, you know, what I thought about it, and first, you know, I had to go back and look at it because I didn't want to be talking, you know, and then after watching it, ooh, wow, it was a lot of thoughts. And then I went to do a little research and try to find out, you know, if he had a position, and I found some things that he had wrote about it. And just in a short nutshell, because that's not the topic we want to get into tonight. What he did, from what I read about his statement about it, and then watching it, you know, he kind of put everybody in the video, their views, his thought, and the video itself was an incredible, you know, work of visual art itself. I'm just talking about the video. But then, just like you said, the messages, subliminal messages, the emblems, and in short, he has set another whole precedent so far as giving Satan himself and the spirit of Satan new platform. Just briefly think about it. You have all religion, the majors, Christianity, Islam, Catholicism, Buddhism, Judaism, all of those religious belief systems, they have platform, they have space on this planet, in this world. There's nothing wrong or uncommon with hearing somebody talk about the God they believe in. But what this individual has done, he's opened the door to give Satan a platform to come out and be present on this world, just like those religions, by him snapping the neck of Satan in the video and putting the horns on himself and his eyes come looping. That now he's the devil in the video. Okay. And so that gives Satan an image now. But I don't get into it because, you know, that's not why I came. We got to finish up this Willie Lynch. But
I
That
didn't
ain't
I didn't
nothing
even see
new.
the full video. But yeah, but
It's
just off of what you
it's
said, as far as
mhm.
go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
No. Finish your thought. As far as what?
No, you got it. Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
it
So as far as what you said, you know what I mean. Just on. We may have a delay of it. Okay, go ahead.
no, it's on you,
No,
bro. I don't
you
want to
got it,
cut your
brother.
thought out.
I'll let you
Finish your
finish.
thought. I want to hear your
Yeah,
thoughts.
because I think we got a delay. So I think like when I speak, it's like a second delay or something like that. So, but yeah. So as far as like what you said, we're putting the image on of the devil, basically. Him turning into the devil, it's kind of subliminally making us think like, okay, maybe here's the image of the devil, and we have a black man to represent it. You know what I'm saying? And although with his mind, he's all over the place when it comes to the type of person he is. You either want to be country or this, and then turn to gay. It's like we finding out something new about this person like every 6 months. You know what I mean? So now people is thinking like he's worshiping the devil or a troll or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So it just seemed very interesting, amongst of everything else that's going on, how they paint the picture when it comes to the mentality of black men and women. But now we have this that's a representative of who we are as well. Because we know that everybody that step in the media represents, people's idea of who we are, especially if they're popular. So along with the Nicki Minaj, the Cardi B's, and those type of people, now we got the brother coming in to play to, twerk and do, giving lap dances and represent himself as the devil as well. So now what is the message to the masses on who black people really are? You know what I'm saying? So, that's just the way it looks across the world, because I'm pretty sure that's been spreaded like all over the world. You know what I mean? Those images of people that look like us. So I just find it interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Mm, you know, we can get back with that, but let's. We had left off. We had left off with the Willie Lynch document, and I just wanted to reiterate to our listeners that my objective is to connect Nubian brothers and sisters to the power that's available to us and the power of thought, the power of the mind. Okay, that's what Nubian King mean. My objective is to help us as a people, a Nubian people, a very, very intelligent, superior energy on this planet. Not black people, but Nubian brothers and sisters. Those of us that seek a higher understanding, a higher consciousness, and a better life. And it's always good being in position of power. We see those that have been our adversaries doing every single thing they possibly can, no holds barred, to maintain power. That's what we see with these voting rights that's taken the situation back to basically Jim Crow, where it's difficult. When you look and see them making laws that says it's illegal to give a person some water or food while they stand in line, that's him. That's his mentality. That's the beast that he is. That's the barbarian, working and making these laws that's causing discomfort to other people. And, my objective is, when I'm sharing information, is to simply work with our people, because it is us that has been the food and fuel to this barbarian table We've been the food for his table. We've been the fuel for his machine. And he's still eating from our strength, and he's still utilizing our strength to feed his machine. And so what they're doing here today with these laws is just continuing what has never come to an end. Slavery, Jim Crow, and all of that, it never ended. They simply changed the way that they do it, the aesthetics, the way it looks. Slavery never ended. The Emancipation Proclamation didn't end slavery. It stopped a style or look of slavery that, hanging a sister upside down by ankles, 9 months in conception, and taking a knife out and cutting her stomach open and the baby drop out on the ground and you stomp it. That's what they did. And for, my people to say, why would they do that? How could they do that? You can't do people. What kind of people? You're not talking to a people. You're talking about a barbaric beast, a non-human individual on 2 feet. Humans can't do other humans like that. With any level, any ounce of compassion and love, you can't do other people like that. And so their quest to hang on to power is like they say, the ends justify the means. The end results of the things that they do causes them to maintain their power. And so whatever, by any means necessary. And so as we was in the Willie Lynch letter, that was a part of them hanging on to power by usurping our energy and enslaving our ancestors. And the method that we've been talking about is the slave mind created by this guy named Willie Lynch in 1712, when he spoke to other slave owners in Virginia. And we had gotten into it because in my objective of helping our people obtain the power of thought that we're so gifted with, being that our thoughts can be transferred from thought energy to physical energy by way of the pineal gland. That pineal gland has a very, very unique job, which can convert your thoughts into physical energy. That is the connector. That's the doorway of you thinking and making things happen. Your thoughts being able to affect your physical environment. And what I'm working on is to cause you to be able to actually think that into being, think that into fruition. There are times that you're able to do it right now. Okay, you're able to do it right now. There are times where you may not be aware that you did that. And so my objective is bring you to that conscious awareness and the ability to be able to think and make that happen and know that you did it through your thoughts. And so the Willie Lynch letter is very important, be able to cleanse your mind of all the distractions and the psychological toxin and poison and impurities that we've been swamped in, drowned in, and that has cut off our ability to think at this higher vibration that calls us to be able to reconnect to this power. This Willie Lynch letter, this Willie Lynch document is very, 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 very key into doing that, putting this Euro-Gentile barbaric mindset upon us. And we left off with the portion of the breaking process of the African woman. And the reason why I'm going into this, so our listeners will know, is that this is the psychological programming that took place with our great forefathers and our incredible strong mothers that caused us to think us the way that we think. And we've heard it on many, many occasions why black people think like that. Black people. Well, here's the fundamental process that this guy used to cause us to think like that. And it reads on this wise: the breaking process of the African woman. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way, because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any signs of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract the last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economics. You see, it was all about money for them. Slavery is about economics. Slavery is about dominating a people in order to make money. And that's what this was. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economic. Chattel slavery for them was about money. That's all it was about. They used our forefathers and mothers, free economic, free labor. When in complete submission, she would train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of the female nigger. We have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state. She would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male, and she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise male offspring to be dependent like her. Nature has provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. Now, this is the point that I want to make mention as to why we see our brothers and sisters live on TV getting shot unedited here today in America and throughout the world. You don't see no other race of people going through that. Never.
Not at all.
You don't see any other race. If I'm wrong, you mention it. Tell me. If somebody say it, no, I saw some white boys getting shot up. Just tell me. I stand to be corrected. I don't have any problem, because I'm not the kind of person, hey, I understand brothers and sisters is no limit to what a brother and sister can go and achieve, as long as you don't care who get the credit. So if I'm wrong, say it. But I've never seen another race of people live on national TV, CNN, ABC, NBC, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, getting pumped full of bullets. And you see the blood, like the brother that was sitting in the car, and he told the cop, yes, he has a gun, he's licensed and everything. And they pumped him full of bullets, and he leaned over, and you see the blood running down his chest. This right here, all of that stems from this right here. In 1712, when this white boy told these people, we reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized nigga apart and bullwhipping the others to the point of death, all in her presence. And the reason why is to put fear and make her feel alone and unprotected with the male image destroyed. And that's what the little brother Nas is doing with this whole feminine thing and him coming out gay and yada, 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 because it leave our sisters feeling alone, unprotected with the male image destroyed. You see how powerful this document is? When you see those brothers and sisters getting shot by these cops, That's what it does. It causes psychological fear. It puts you in a frozen state, a state of unprotected. You feel uncovered. And that's by design that they allow that to be shown on TV. Unedited. Sometimes they don't even tell you, oh, this is going to be graphic. Y'all got to hold on to your, you know. And that's where it come from, by her feeling left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed. There you go. That's why. And so why is it that, Nas is so incredibly, right now, 50 some odd million views? Is because he's assisting them in destroying the male image, the black man, the Nubian man, the image of the male. And so the ordeal calls her to move from psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles. She will raise her male and female in reverse role. For fear of the young man's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent. Look at these dudes walk around now. It's hard to say black men for some of them. It's hard to say that. Like, those cats, man, back in the day, we used to say them boys is about as sweet as a 5-pound bag of Dixie Crystal. And you talking about a man? What? No, partner. You're a long way from a man. Your voice don't even say, you ain't got no bass in your voice. Don't talk like that. You all up there talking? No, please, no. I can't call you a man. I'm like, dude, I ain't gonna say it. I'm just leaving it alone. Because of fear of the male's life, she'll psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong, work like a bull, but mentally weak. And then we see it all across their TV, their network. They not stupid, they running this game plan too. They know exactly what they're doing, because you see, they don't let nobody on that TV that's not going to say what they want them to say. Your picture is froze. Can you hear me? Great brother, you there? I done lost you. Hello. Independent, but physically strong. Work like a bull, but mentally weak. And then we see it all across their TV, their network. They not stupid, they running this game plan too. They know exactly what they're doing, because you see, great brother, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, your
It's not raining. That's very interesting.
Your screen it froze for a moment. Okay, all right. Long as you there.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, raising the boy to be mentally weak but physically strong. And we see that with all these young cats walking around so feminized. Because she has become psychologically independent, she would train her female offspring to be psychologically independent. So what do they say? How can we relate that today? What I need a nickel for? And what the sister saying? A broke nigga don't get no pee. I mean, if I'm wrong, If I'm wrong, somebody check me now. You know, say, hey, bro, you know, you wrong with that. Okay, I shut up. Because she'll train him after she been broken. And then what you got? The nigga woman out front and the nigga male behind and scared. This is perfect situation of sound sleep and economics. Before the breaking process, we had to be alertly on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly. For out of frozen fear, his woman stand guards for us. This remind me, man, so many years ago, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, at the CNS Bank. I never forget this. I went in that bank for some business, and I needed to see one of their bank officers. And at the time, this was downtown Peachtree Street. And I walked in the bank, and to the right with this long row of tellers, it was CNS Bank downtown Atlanta, way back in the day. And then to the left was a bunch of officers in desk, you know, several desks over there, 1, 2, 3 rows deep. And the guy needed to see with this old white dude sitting over there in the back. And as I started down in between the desks walking toward him, I never forget this sister jumps out, sir, can I help you? But I remember the way she came at me was like a guard dog. And when she jumped in my face, that's the thought that came to my mind, man. And she said, sir, can I help you? I said, hold it. Yeah. I said, yeah, I need to go over there and see Mr. Davis. Oh, he's busy now. He can't see anybody. And he was just sitting at his desk. I'm like, okay, well, it only gonna take me about 2 minutes. Would you let him know? No, he's not there. I mean, she went from he's busy to he's not there. I say, ma'am, I'm looking right at him. He's sitting right over there at the desk. You can't go over there. Why not? And I'll never forget that, you know, because she says that for out of frozen fears, women stand guards for us. You see why I'm taking my time to walk through this? Because we have to understand what has happened to us as a people mentally. My objective is to free your mind from all of this mental poison and toxin. And once we get the mind clean, then we can go and start working on the process of getting back to our power of thought. And we go to the matrix for that. Excellent visual representation of the mental capability that we possess, because it was a beautiful, delicious chocolate sister that made that movie from all spirit. He could not get past her early slave molding process. He cannot get past her early slave molding process. You hear that? He could not get past her early slave molding process. He is a good tool now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. By the time a nigger boy reaches age 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work and the reproduction of the unit of a good labor force. All this was about taking their mind. That's what we're talking about. And so here it is. Your brother Nubian King is talking about regaining our mind. That's what we're talking about. That's where we coming from right now. And we got to sit and break this down step by step so we can understand what the world is going on with our people and the thought process. He's a good tool, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. And he even be specific and says by the time the nigger boy reached the age of 16, will not, this is no guesswork. These bandits knew exactly what he was doing. This guy had perfected this and mastered this in the West Indies. And now he's up here in Virginia telling these slave owners how to do this to our people, create the slave mind. continually through the breaking of uncivilized savage niggers. They call us savage. I mean, come on now. By throwing the nigger female savage in a frozen psychological state of independence by killing the protective male image, by killing the protective male image. And today we got so many of our beautiful queens that's got to be father, mother, the protector, the provider. Our sisters is so far out of their sphere mode of who they are that I once was speaking to a group of brothers and I said, you know what? We have never in our life known a beautiful Nubian queen as brothers on this planet for the past 400 or 500 years. The sisters that's moving around today, they're not our sisters. They're not what the Creator created to work and harmonize with us. Why? Why do I say that? Because they have not been able to thrive in an environment conducive for them. Now, Becky over there, Sally and Janice, Mary and Martha, they have in that world because these barbarians dominated this world. So the white girl get to do the white girl. But our sisters got to be they got to be behind us, not behind us, but they got to struggle not having a head, a brother, strong brother to cover them. So now they got to be the father, they got to be the big brother, they got to be the counselor, they got to be the role model, they got to work the job, pay the bill. Because what have they done to us? When you always look at the TV, you always see sisters doing this, sisters doing that, sisters doing that. Where the brothers at? Where's the balance? Okay, so our sister doing big things. Yay, love it. Where the brothers? How many times do you see strong brothers doing whatever? You know, they got a talk show that says the only all women of color talk show. Where's the talk show with all brothers of color?
That's
You
true.
see what I'm saying? Where's the balance?
I didn't even think of that. That's true. We got the Whitney Williams show. We got Oprah. I don't see too many brothers, really kicking it in. I've seen Steve Harvey, but we know what happened to him. So, I mean, after that, I don't see too many brothers that's putting in work like that. Have these big platforms, stuff like that. So, yeah, I like to hear the brothers speak too, so we can have a balance. I think that would be dope. Even if it is just entertainment, I just like to see the balance. Strong brothers, not just any type of.
But how many times do you see a real, organic, true, strong brother standing up doing anything? The images that they got now are these little passive, weakling, dudes. So he sounded
bootleg dudes.
Yeah, bootleg. Yeah, absolutely. That done prayer to lead to the Euro Gentiles agenda. So their objective is to destroy that powerful, image. And then you talking about the rap industry, it's riddled with so much discussion about those brothers being gay and getting with each other. So that whole image that has been destroyed, that protective male image. And that's what you look at it, man. I mean, you don't see no strong brothers out moving around and talking some sense. I mean, intelligent, real solid brothers that's talking some real, real facts. And those brothers, you don't never hear from them. We definitely hear. It's a lot of them, but they ain't gonna be around. Yeah, they ain't gonna be the one in front of the camera, you know, because they don't want that. See, the power of influence that we have, the power, you know, is so great that you look at China and America and New York and the Bronx. Here's a brother born and raised in the Bronx, lived his whole life in the five boroughs in New York: Queens, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island, Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the five boroughs of New York. He born in the Bronx, and he come up. Okay, he turned out to be a rap artist, and in New York, you know, New York could give you a gold record. It's enough people in the five boroughs, 35, 40 million people. You can sell 1 million albums. All it takes is 1 million albums. You got a gold record. So you ain't got to be heard nowhere but right around New York, and you're a gold artist. But that young brother, born and raised in the Bronx, grew up, made up record, and it went over into Beijing, China. And the Chinese now are walking around with a baseball cap backward, with their pants sagging, on the mic, rapping in Mandarin Chinese. Because of what? That brother over there in the Bronx. The brother ain't even been to China.
Yeah.
He ain't been out of the five boroughs of New York. But his influence is so powerful. He got Chinese in Beijing, China, rapping in Mandarin, mimicking him. That's why they don't want us out the box. That's why they don't.
They have a whole hip hop scene out there too.
In Mandarin Chinese. Yeah. So I'm saying, in our weakened state, we got such incredible power that we can influence somebody on the other side of the planet, have never been there. You ain't never been out of your neighborhood, but what you got in your weakened state, that's why you don't see us out front like that. That's why. That's why. So anyway, he's a good tool, but he's a good tool now, ready to be tied to the horse by the tender. Okay. By throwing the nigger female savage into a frozen psychological state of independence, by killing the protective male image and creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male slave, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever. Unless a phenomenon occurs and reshift the position of the male and female slave, that's what we're about right here. We the phenomenon. We the phenomenon. That's it. It says that we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its axis forever, unless a phenomenon occurs and reshift the position of the male and female slave. That's what we're doing. We're working on reshifting it and putting the male back in the position that he was created for, the Nubian King, and putting the female back in the position that she was created for, the Nubian Queen. This is the phenomenon. I'll read it again. We have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever, meaning that what he attempted to do here was to create this slave mind in our people, that it will last forever, keep regenerating itself, unless a phenomenon occurs and reshift the position of the male and female slave. That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm talking. That's why I'm talking. To reshift the position of the male and female slave mind. When we think, oh, we free. Yeah, you free to stay within the boundaries that they have created for you. You mentioned Oprah's name. Do you know Oprah tried to start a church, not too long ago? She wanted to start a church, a whole different. Where's the church at? You know why? They whooped her butt back. Look, sit your ace down. Because why? There are certain tools that these heathen use for control. The television one, tell a lie. Go ahead.
No, I was just talking about the church today. It's something interesting that I feel that happened to the church, because I don't know if you would agree, but at one point the church was one of the strongest pieces in the melanated, community. You know what I'm saying? As far as our movement and how we move, and how we strategize as a people, we went to a church first. I mean, and we had these discussions, so pretty much what we're doing right now, will possibly, it would have been a church back then, actually having discussions and open up our minds. A lot of times it had nothing to do with Christianity and things like that. So the church was open for different people in the community to really strategize and organize. Now today, I feel like what the government ended up doing is saying, like, okay, let's not have that anymore. Now let's give these churches something like a 501c3, and let's put in fine print in the 501c3, like, hey, you can't talk about anything political, or you can't move basically strategically without our permission. So, and then once that happens, you got to the point where the churches have to put in these different poor communities, and then the church can't really survive off of the people's income. So now they have to really depend on the checks for the government. So now the churches are dependent on the government. So they got to the point where they can't say anything, because if they say something about what's going on, did they get that money taken away, then down goes the church. You know what I mean? So now the church is like nothing like how it used to be. Just like what you were saying with the sister Oprah trying to open up her own church. They know for a fact that she's not going to need any type of 501c3. She got money. She good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just thinking, like, they didn't want something like that to happen again. A church, for anybody to come up in there and be able to strategize and be able to move how we should be moving. It's like, no, not today. Not today, Oprah. So we need all our churches to depend on the government. That's how we can control them. So,
and to add to what you're saying, a few years ago, 20,000 clergymen signed on to the U.S. government under the auspices of FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Association. 20,000 pledged their allegiance to the U.S. government. Over 20,000. I'm pretty sure it's more. That's why you have those dudes up there with Trump when he was president, talking about, this should be the greatest thing. All these. I watched them knucklehead talking about, Trump would be the greatest, president ever for the black. All them preachers, and they standing up there praying with Trump, because they sold out our people, and our people don't know that these preachers are there on the benefit of the U.S. government. Because as you see, churches don't make any changes to nothing. And when you listen to the preachers, they're not telling you what you need to do to get your relationship with the creator that you say you believe in. They're not going into the laws and giving instructions that they say, okay, you take Jesus. Jesus came and he was teaching instruction, what to do, what not to do, so that you be pleasing unto your creator. One thing, Jesus, I mean, in the book of Leviticus, it tells you what to eat and what not to eat. And one thing it tells you, from the waters, thou shalt not eat anything that does not have scales on it. That's in the book of Leviticus, from the waters. And what goes on land, that goes upon all fours should be unclean to you. Now, these was laws and instructions But do you think a preacher gonna stand up there and tell his congregation that you can't eat tilapia fish, lobster, and crab and shrimp? And as soon as you get out of church, you're gonna go to Red Lobster. But then you know they're not teaching that because they want that money. So they want every single individual to come on up in here and drop that money off. So they got to make you comfortable with doing it. But in the Bible that they claim they so live by, but then they don't even go by the Old Testament now. They keep you all up in the New Testament where Paul wrote, you know, and you know, Paul says now you can just pray over it and it's good. But the Father said, don't eat anything from the waters that does not have scales on it. Catfish don't have scales on it. Lobster, crab, shrimp, all these other things. Does preacher tell you that? But then the instruction that Jesus was coming, he was saying, thus, and thus. Do this, do this, do this. Even Moses, the great lawgiver, came with instructions. But do you hear Joel Osteen telling those people, well, you know, we gotta, man, please. He telling the people what to do to get some money and the rest of them. They don't turn your blessings, equating your blessing into financial, physical, materialistic.
It's monetized. Your blessings are now monetized. It's commercialized.
So if you got a lot of money, you bless.
Yeah.
You blessed if you got a lot of money. So anyway, we're talking about the case of the two economic slave units and examining them close. The Negro marriage. We breed two nigger male with two nigger females. Then we take the nigger male away from them and keep them moving and working. What? We breed two nigger males with two nigger female. Then we take the nigger male away from them and keep them moving and working. Say one nigger female bears a nigger female. Say one nigger female bears a nigger female, and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females being without influence of the nigger male image, frozen with the independent psychology will raise their offspring in reverse position. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. Independent and negotiable. So what do we mean in 2021? Remember we used to say the sister get the job and the brother standing at the bus stop waiting on the bus. She riding in the car. You know, it ain't got to be no Rolls Royce or a Maserati, a Bentley, or a Maybach. It could be a hoopty, but she in the car. And the brother standing waiting on the bus. In Atlanta, Georgia, is MARTA, M-A-R-T-A, Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority. But, you know, our people, being as creative as we are, MARTA, that's what the public transportation system in Atlanta, Georgia is named, MARTA, moving, M-A-R-T-A, Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority. But our people changed it to Moving Africans Rapidly Through Atlanta. So raise her to be independent and negotiable. I'm my own woman. What I need a nigga for. Then who got the money? Like the sister Megan Thee Stallion, she said at the time, I'm a ratchet, savage. What's happening? And what we're gonna talk about. So we negotiate with her, through her, by her, negotiate her at will. So it's the money. All right. And so she's taking on that spirit too, because when the brother come to her, if she got a career His credit got to be like this. He got to have a credit score above 650. He can't have that much debt. You got to have your own bank account. You got to have your own car because she ain't your taxi. So all of these things, right, in her negotiation with getting with you as a man, that's how she negotiate. All right. Now, you know, mind you, she done worked and got her career together. So she basically want her a brother that can come with something to the table too, more than just himself. That's understandable. But if you make that the sole center of how you selecting your mate, you might miss that real good brother that if y'all work together, you could blow up into greatness. And so he said, we negotiate with her, through her, by her, negotiate her at will. And so what does that do? That continuously destroy the family unit. The one with the nigga male offspring, she being frozen subconscious for his life will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these two offspring become fertile for early production, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. This is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning. This is what they did to us for hundreds of years. They didn't just lay this out. And so after continuously doing this for hundreds of years, what do we got going on today? Warning, now the possible interpoling negative. Earlier, we talked about the non-economic good of the horse and the nigger in their wild or natural state. That's like when me and my sister got into a heavy argument when she said that we were better off when we were slaves. Man, I lost it. But anyway, what she was referring to is that when we were slaves, we knew our land, language, and culture. And so what he's referring to here is, you know, we talked about the non-economic good of the horse and the nigger in their wild and natural state. He says wild and natural, but when we were in our right mind, we knew who we were as a people, the land, language, and culture, where we came from, everything. We knew ourselves. And my objective here today is to help us to get back to knowing ourselves. So we talked about the principle of breaking and tying them together for orderly production. Furthermore, we talked about paying particular attention to the female savage and her offspring for orderly future planning. Then more recently, we stated that by reversing the position of the male and female savages, we created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever unless a phenomenon occur and reshift the position of the male and female savages. That's what I'm working on. Putting us back to our natural state of being mental, psychological, spiritual dynamos on this planet. We still that, we just need to retune this. We need to get this stuff out of our heads, you know, get this slave mind washed out. It's that invisible program that calls our people to do what we do the way we do it. And it ain't coming out to our good. Our experts warn us about the possibility of this phenomenon occurring. For they say that the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time. If it can touch some substantial, original, historical base. All right, stop. We don't want to go too fast. It says that his expert warned them about the possibility of this phenomenon occurring. For they say that the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time. In other words, the mind will seek to function in its natural state. Okay. And this is what we see taking place today. I mentioned to a good friend of mine that we're living now in a state on this planet where the barbarians that have been in control of this world have come to the end of their intellectual ability to rule. Meaning that the intellect of the people is raising much, much higher and further than the barbarians that have ruled over this world. They never change what they do because what they did to gain control of this world has been working constantly for centuries, decades and centuries. And so they haven't came up with anything new. because it worked. Any good businessman who start a business, he tweak it, change it, rearrange it. He believed what he doing will work, so he work on making it work. And when he get it to a point where it's working, he lock it in and just continue to do it, pass it on and on and on. So he hadn't come up with any brand new, unheard of, totally new methods of controlling brothers and sisters. And so that's why today we're sliding past that. We're coming from under this slave mentality, this psychological brainwashing, until where we're cleansing our brain and mind of this to where we can reconnect to our power. And so the shifting is taking place because it is a natural state that we was created to be rulers, kings and queens of this world. And so even if you just hear, those that are in the sound and the hearing of my voice are beginning to hear and being awakened, because this is you. This consciousness, this psychological power is you. This ability to think and make things happen is your natural created abilities to have dominance on this world, to walk this planet as a spiritually inspired God. And so when he says that the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time, it is because that is not who we are. We as a Nubian race of powerful brothers and sisters are not slaves in the mind, no way, shape, form, and fashion. So he got us. Okay, he got over on us. But it wasn't never going to ever be forever. And so now we are seeing ourselves come back to ourselves. And so it says that if it can touch some substantial, original, historical base, and that's what we're doing. We're tying ourselves back into our original being of being God and goddesses. That's why you on here saying peace to the gods. That didn't just poof, somebody say, hey, you need to say that. That's going to be real slick. That's your mind reconnecting itself back to its original state. Why would you even say that? Peace to the gods. It's because all of this crap that they have covered us in is wearing off. And they don't have nothing to replace it. Because it has worked for them. And so all of that crap that used to work, it done crumbled away, and now you coming out being yourself. It is absolutely nothing wrong with saying peace to the God. You have got to own it, believe it, internalize it, and keep saying it until you become comfortable in it. Because in the beginning, when you start walking away from all this bullshit that they done had us locked down in, and believing that something up in the sky was coming to do something for you, where in reality it was you that had the ability to do it, that he tricked you from thinking it wasn't. Then he put himself into that position by making your creator, the one that you waiting to come back in the sky, look like him. So you believe in him and not yourself. Because he saw, when he was in Africa, he saw what he saw down there. He saw gods and goddesses walking on this planet. So he had to change all of that. Okay, look, I give him one. He got it. I got to respect the game, man. He did a good job, but no more. We finding ourselves now, brother. And that's what make this show so powerful. That's what makes this show so powerful, because why? The mind will automatically correct itself when you connect to the historical base. That's why they are trying to destroy the image of black brothers and sisters, Nubian kings and queens in Africa. That's why they running all over Africa looking for one bone to say it was white. Because as long as we understand our beautiful great continent of Africa and the power and all that we did upon the face of this planet, who in the world would not want to connect and recognize with that? Who would want to do that? Just like that statue you got behind you right there over your left shoulder. Who made that?
Mm-hmm.
We did. Our people did. Who did all of this stuff? Jazz, rock, soul. I mean, we could go on and on about all the great things that we've given to this planet being persecuted by this bandit. And now our minds is coming back to who we originally or really are, gods and goddesses. And you always hear me say gods and goddesses, Nubian kings and queens, brother and sister, male and female. We cannot be individuals. We weren't created to be individuals. You look at this whole planet, all the creation is paired, male and female, male and female. The entire creation is male and female. Even the peanut. You go to the store and get a peanut tomorrow and pull it apart, one side male, one side female. So when you see two males walking together holding hand and two females working together holding hand, now I just dropped that. Y'all smart. You already know what we saying. This entire world is male and female. Duality. Up, down, left, right, in, out, hot, cold, day, night. But male, male, female, female. I don't have to even say that when I'm talking to wise people. All these people on here on your show, they wise, they smart. That's why they here. That's why they here.
It's a fact.
You know? So anyway, correct, reconnect itself over a period of time. It can touch some substantial original historical base. That's our ties with great Africa. And then, I just want to drop one little piece. Egypt. Okay, what was Egypt in Africa? Okay, you have markets, farmers market. And what is a farmers market? That's where people bring food, produce, and different things to sell. Everybody know where the farmer market. Generally, every major city have a farmers market, something like that, and that's where you come to get all your food stuff and what have you. So everybody come to the farmers market because that's where all the good fresh food is at. That's where we can go and get stuff. So anyway, Egypt was Africa's farmers market, but Egypt was Africa's intellectual market where you can go and get skill, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. See, some of the greatest thinkers in some of the most powerful intellect convene on Egypt to show forth their wares, which is what they knew, their knowledge. And so they built certain things and they did certain things all around in Egypt. And to this day, they still digging up stuff that they ain't know nothing about. And they up in there can't figure some stuff out. Like the brother Billy Carson took us down there from Billy Carson, Forbidden Knowledge with the letter 4. He took us down in there and showed this one particular area. I mean, it was thousands of years old. Look, spank brand new. The paint not chipped, everything. I mean, incredible. Thousands of years old. So that's what Egypt was. Egypt was Africa's market for intellect, where we bring now the farmer's market, fruit, vegetable. Egypt was the farmer market for knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Okay. Now, and they advised us, talking about their expert, they advised us that the best way to deal with the phenomenon is to shave off the brute mental history and create a multiplicity of phenomenon of illusions so that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit. Something similar to floating balls in a vacuum. He's talking about keep them caught up in bullshiggity. Keep them caught up in bullshit. That's what we're talking about here. That's what he's talking about. Keeping them caught up in an illusion. Like this is real, but it ain't. Okay, and so when you finally discover that it's not real, You done got. It's too late. This creation of multiplicity of phenomenon or of illusion entail the principle of crossbreeding the nigger and the horse, as we stated above. The purpose of which is to create a diversified division of labor, thereby creating different levels of labor and different values of illusion at each connecting level of labor. The manager, the co-manager, the crew chief, all thinking they somebody special, but all of y'all is still in the pot as slaves. You're just slaves on a job. The result of which is the severance of the points of original beginning for each sphere illusion. You see, this type of information for some people can be boring, but that's why they do it like this, to make it complicated. Since we feel that the subject matter may get more complicated as we proceed in laying down our economic plan concerning the purpose, reason, and effect of crossbreeding horse and niggers, we should lay down the following definition terms for future generations. Orbiting cycle mean a thing turning in a given path. Axis mean upon which or around which a body turns. Phenomena means something beyond ordinary conception and inspires awe and wonder. That's exactly what we're doing here. Multiplicity mean a great number, means a globe. Crossbreeding a horse means taking a horse and breeding it with an ass, as you get a dumb, backward ass, long-headed mule that is not reproductive nor productive by itself. Do you know anyone that could fit that description? What we used to say, oh, dumbass nigga. We used to say that. Sad, but you know it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
How can we come up with them type words? Oh, dumbass nigga. And then he'll say, what? Wow. You know, you crossbreed a horse mean taking and breeding it with an ass, as you get a dumb, backward ass, long-headed mule that is not reproductive nor productive up by itself. And we used to call each other old dumbass niggas. Look at them out there. Crossbreeding niggas mean taking so many drops of good white blood and putting them into as many nigga women as possible, varying the drops by varying tones that you want, and then letting them breed with each other until another circle of color appears as you desire. That's exactly what they did down in Australia with the Aboriginal brothers and sisters. They took all them and did just that. Todd, okay, what this mean is put the niggers and the horse in the breeding pot, mix some asses and some good white blood, and what do you get? You got a multiplicity of colors of ass backward, unusual niggas running tied to backward ass, long-headed mules, one productive of itself, the other sterile. The one constant is the other dying. We keep the nigger constant, for we may replace the mule for another two. Both mule and niggers tied to each other, neither knowing where the other came from, and neither productive for itself nor without each other. A big ball of mass ass confusion. And so what happened? He controls the energy for himself. So he pop up with the plan. Next thing you know, got all them brothers and sisters dumb and working for him. Control language. You see how thorough they did this? I mean, you know, these guys went through everything. Because why? Their natural lives was at stake. Crossbreeding completed. For further severance from their original beginning, we must completely annihilate the mother tongue of both the new nigger and the new mule, and institute a new language that involved the new life work of both. You know, language is a particular institution. It leads to the heart of a people. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he's able to move through all levels of the society. I just said that when I open my mouth, I speak Hebrew because here in Israel, we speak Hebrew. And so I studied Hebrew extensively because this fact is true. You know, language is a particular institution. It leads to the heart of a people. When I'm speaking Hebrew amongst these Israelis, they are just blown away. You know, it makes them comfortable, and they like, man, this brother speak Hebrew. Wow. Ooh, and it opened doors. It leads to the heart of people. Just like I saw a brother in the States that had lived in China, and he speak perfect Mandarin Chinese. Went on up in there, and they could not get past the fact beautiful brothers standing up here speaking Cao San Hao, Ni Hao, you know, just like them. You know, and they were just laughing and giggling, and they had to get themselves together, and he's laughing and joking with them, speaking their language. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he's able to move through all levels of that society. Therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of the country to the extent that he knows the body of the language, to that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture. That's exactly what's happening in Africa right now. Cultural imperialism. The Chinese is all over the place. And our people don't, with a lot of our young family, not even wearing African culture. They're wearing a Western culture. That's cultural imperialism. For example, if you take a slave, if you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets, and he is then no more a slave. For you can't fool him any longer, and being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of any incident to the maintenance of the slavery system. Now, stop right there. Being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of any incident to the maintenance of the slavery system. Now, reworded is being a dummy can easily be controlled. You know what I've taught my children? That dumb people don't rule nothing. This is how my children grew up under that, you know, me teaching them. Do not be no dummy, because dumb people rules nothing. Everybody rule over dummies. Everybody tell a dummy whatever they want. Why? Because you dumb. You don't know nothing. And I made it disgusting and terrible to the young ears. And they came through school blazing. They all went into the Israeli military. They all came out ranked soldiers, leaders, battalion leaders, commanders, sergeants. My youngest son, he'd be finished here. I just spoke with him tonight before we came on, and he's a sergeant. And he's over a battalion of transportation. He's in transportation logistics, and he's the sergeant. I got two others. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she was an aircraft engineer, and these are Nubian children over here in the Israeli military. They're Nubian kings and queens, young brothers and sisters. And my daughter, she is a professional model in Israel. And she is modeled on some of the biggest stages, the biggest shows, the biggest affairs. They call her up. And you talking about beauty and brains. That girl, when she was in the Israeli Air Force, brother, she was an aircraft engineer working on F-15 fighter jets over here for this country. And then my other son, he was the also aircraft engineer. He was a sergeant, and he was a commander over a team of other aircraft engineers. As a matter of fact, that F-35 bird that they put together in America, they wanted him to be a part of the maintenance team, F-35. And I couldn't have thought of a prouder time is when they had an open house over there, and we all went to the base, and it was myself, you know, his mother, and he's out there, and I think it was one other Ethiopian brother, but thousands and thousands of Israelis, man. And, my son stood there and gave a lecture on the F-16, where he was F-15 and 16 engineer, and he focused on the power plant, one of the most important, to get that bird in the sky, the engine. And I couldn't, you couldn't have found a more prouder father than to see my 17-year-old son standing there going over the power plant, answering questions, from these Israelis, all in Hebrew. And he bouncing from Hebrew to English, and he breaking it down. I mean, he laying it out. Man, and he's 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? And another point that he stated was that the Americans and Israelis train a lot together. And when the American aircraft engineers come over to get with the Israeli aircraft engineer, the Americans are just blown away that these guys, they children. My son was 17 years old. And when the Americans come, they like 30. And they sitting in the class, and the instructor engineer is 17-year-old black guy. I mean, Nubian son, man. He said that, woo. He said Abba. Abba means father in Hebrew. He said, Abba, they can't even get over the fact that, we are Nubian and children, 17 years old. But I taught them that when you dumb, everybody rule over you. And just like he said in this here document, being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of any incident to the maintenance of slavery. Keeping them stupid, keeping them dumb. For example, if you told a slave that he must perform in getting out our crops, and he knows the language well, he would know that our crops didn't mean our crops, and the slavery system would break down. For he would relate on the basis of what our crop really mean. So you have to be careful in setting up the new language, for the slave will soon be in your house talking to you as man to man. And that is death to our economic system. So it was all about money. In addition, the definition of word or terms are only a minute part of the process. The definition of words or terms are only a minute part of the process. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you explain why back in the day during slavery, things like that, they hit a lot of books. We know that, but the one book they was able to read was the Bible. Can you explain that? Because that sounds interesting to me. Where they hide like a lot of the other books, but there's certain ones was able to read the Bible.
Because we are a very spiritual people, and we always have had a very close relationship with our Creator. And remember now, the Bible that they caused us to believe in was the King James version. Okay. And so this is what they beat into us to accept, the white Jesus. But we knew as a people, our land, language, and culture did not have a white Jesus. It was the brother Yeshua ben Yosef, that walked this land. There was never a white guy over here in this land that I'm sitting in right now named Jesus Christ. The letter J didn't even come into the English alphabet until 900 BC, long after. It was Yod, Yeshua. There's no place over here in this land named Bethlehem. There's no place over here named Bethlehem. People come over here talking about, I want to go to Bethlehem. Where's that at? It's in Israel. No, there's no place over here named Bethlehem. The place that they're actually referring to, where they say Jesus was born in a manger, is called Bethlehem. Bethlehem. Beit lechem is short for house of bread. Beit is short for bayit. Bayit is house. Lechem is bread. So they're saying Beit lechem. Yeshua was born in Beit lechem, the house of bread. But the words, listen how it changed over. Beit lechem, Bethlehem, Bethlehem, Bethlehem. So in English, you're saying Bethlehem, 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 Bethlehem. You see how it slides over? Bethlehem, Bethlehem, Bethlehem. So if in English you're saying Bethlehem, when you get to Israel, it's not Bethlehem, Bethlehem, because you can't translate English words directly into Hebrew words because you have gutturals that there are no sound in the English language to make that sound in Hebrew. So the Bible being the book that they gave our people, the original Bible, the most widely used Bible is what? The King James Version. The King James Version. And in that book, it states that being a good servant, render your blessings, and to be what? Thy master. Honor thy master. Those words that they changed up in there is what caused the slave to be even more docile and more peaceful slave, because it says honor thy master. And so they switched words around and they gave this particular Bible to the slave that they had wrote. They had made sure that what they would read would keep them psychologically enslaved. And so the Bible was allowed to be read because they wrote it. Now, since you mentioned the Bible, I would like to just point out that the most widely read Bible has been the King James Version. And for those that may not be aware, King James was a homosexual, just like Nas. So Nas ain't nothing new. Homosexuality ain't nothing new. I mean, you know, we can bounce all across history and point out homosexual. You know, Queen Latifah, she came out as gay. What's his name? Teddy Pendergrass, they say he had the accident in that Rolls Royce because he was getting fixed up there, you know. And then we go back even further. But we going back to King James. And it was a known fact that King James was homosexual. Matter of fact, it was so widely known that when they would come to the court for different pageries and in meetings and get together in the court for whatever, they would say, all right, y'all look out. Here come Queen James. They would joke about it because they knew that King James was sexing his 13-year-old cousin named Esme. Esme was King James' 13-year-old cousin, and for doing that, King James made him the Duke of Lenox. And now in Atlanta, Georgia, you got one of the most popular shopping areas called Lenox Mall, Lenox Square. The Duke of Lenox was King James' lover. Then he commissioned other men to put the Bible together. Now, in the understanding, he commissioned them to put it together. He was the king, and most of the men that put the book together was homosexual. They was gays themselves. And in the very book that they put together, it says that is a abominated man. So this is history of the origin of the book. And yeah, that's why it was given it to. It was easy for the slave to get if he started reading, because as we have said on many occasions, that the Bible for the most part was a slave doctrine. I know some people don't want to hear that, but look, you know, go ahead.
Yeah, that explains why, you know, you only hear about men mostly in the Bible that's making moves. You don't hear too much about women, you know, and when you hear about women, it's always something bad, you know what I mean? Like from the beginning of Adam and Eve, you know, Eve did something in order for all of us to be doomed, you know, into this society that we live today, you know. And then you have some other ones. You got I'm forgetting names, the Jezebel, or whatever their name is, you know. So they got prostitutes and this and that and the third, you know what I mean, when it comes to this. So I mean, that's very interesting, you know, that she said it was written by a lot of homosexuals. I heard about some. I heard of one of them being Shakespeare, you know, as one of the writers. But, you know, to say that most of them are all of them, that's very interesting. I didn't even think about that.
And you know,
yeah.
The dudes that put the book together, you see, it wasn't, you know, I'm not saying they wrote the Bible. I'm saying they put the book together from information that they gathered around, and a lot of the information was wrong. And then when the information didn't really make sense or add up or whatever, they put what they felt it should be. Now you got to consider, now if these men sitting here and they are in direct opposition to what the Bible say, two men together, two women together is wrong, then what do you think they're gonna put in the book? You know what I'm saying? And then this is the book that a lot of people have based our lives upon. And at the same time, you know, when you look and see what the benefit has actually been, it's a belief system. I mean, if you believe it, okay, great. You can believe it. I'm not telling you believe what you want to believe. I'm not dictating to anybody. I'm sharing information. The point is that my information that I'm sharing is geared toward you gaining your own powers and abilities. And one thing the Bible does, it keeps you believing in something else and not yourself. It keeps you believing in somebody that's supposed to come back from somewhere to do something for you, and you don't never get to a point and realize that you got the power to do that. That's my point. And I know it ain't nice. I know it don't sound good. I know it's going to shake some people and some folks may run away, but I have got to say it because you sitting there looking up, waiting on something and everything happening. And then you sit and wait on Barack Obama to do something for black people. And black people knew that Obama knew that black has no standing at law, but we have already been conditioned as a people to sit and wait on somebody to come do something for us because we have never been introduced to ourselves to know that we have that power. You got that. You don't have to look in the sky. It's in you. But we ain't never been introduced to that, you know, not at this level. Like go pray to Jesus, go pray to Buddha, Allah, Yeshua, whatever, but not to you. And then we sitting up talking about peace to the gods. Look, this is so incredibly different for a lot of our people because we've always seen ourselves as bandits. Where they always show us as robbers, they always show us in negative light, you know, brothers and sisters, you know. That it's been for so long that we've been seeing negative images and stereotypes about ourselves. Why is it that beautiful chocolate sister walking around with blonde hair on and big eyelashes and all of this? Because she's been tricked to think that that's what's beautiful, because your enemies has constantly bombarded you with this image and really pushed it to say that's what's really beautiful. So here our beautiful chocolate sisters, not all of them, is walking around all painted up and looking all certain kind of way because they've been led to believe that's what's actually beautiful. But in reality, you are naturally beautiful in yourself. You the one. It's you. You know what I'm saying? It's you. It's not anyone else. And it ain't worked sitting around waiting on something to show up. Look, when I was a little bitty fella, 4 years old in the church, my grandmama on the right, mother on the left, my mother lived to 89. She was waiting on Jesus. My grandmother lived that old too, waiting on Jesus to show up, to come back, to do something. While all this stuff is happening to us right now. Okay, so I'm like, okay, all right, look, we got this ship, it's sinking. Okay, the boat is sinking. Now, what are we gonna do? We gonna wait on somebody to come and save us, or are we gonna work on saving ourselves? That's my position.
Right.
I watched my mother live 89
Yeah.
years waiting
And
on
I
Jesus.
want to point out.
Go ahead.
Hmm. Yeah, I want to point out because someone asked, I mean, should we keep the Bible or should we trash it? You know, so I want to say that is the Bible is written in a way where actually anybody could pick it up and use it for their own will. You know, I've seen like crazy people, you know, use the Bible and find a scripture in there and say, okay, the Bible told me to do this, you know, and that could be like harassing people, that could be like, you know, killing people and things like that. So, I mean, you got to think about this. Our brother Nat Turner used the Bible for his own, you know, good. You know what I mean? So he used the Bible, and then he caused a revolution. You know what I'm saying? And he did what he had to do, and I salute what he did. You know, so we can use the Bible. There's some good things in the Bible, is what I'm saying. You know, so there's a lot of good things, but there's a lot of iffy things as well. So we have to be able to chop it up and use it to our own good and use it to our own liking, just like we do everything else. I mean, we could listen to music, we could read a book, we could watch a movie, we could catch something in there that could speak to us. You know what I mean? So saying that the Bible, knowing that it's written and published, it's actually published, you know, by these white entities. You know, so like just going back to King James, for example, if you go to study him, yeah, you'll find out that he's a homosexual, but he also wrote a book called Demonology. You know what I'm saying? So he wrote a book about devils and how he acts, you know, in his own life. You know, how he was an actual pedophile as well. You know what I'm saying? So that was all written in that book. And what he used that for, you know. So we have to use things such as the Bible for our own good. So if you find something that speaks to you, like for example, I like to use like Jesus character, for example. He was actually a revolutionary if you really think about it. He went against the government, you know what I mean? And he went against some of the wicked people on earth. You know what I'm saying? And he did what he had to do. It was a part in the Bible where he said, no, I'm not coming for peace. I'm coming to do this and that. All because you don't believe in what I believe in. You know, so there's certain things you could take out and use it for your own good. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say trash it, but I would say study it and really understand exactly what it's trying to say. You know, and back in your mind, know that it was written for a certain purpose, and you have to decode it that way as well. You know, so that's what I'm gonna say to that. You know what I mean,
And I
I
want
wouldn't
to
trash it.
also bring. I would also want to bring out another point to that statement. That's a powerful statement that you use. You know, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is touted as America's greatest investor, right? And
Right.
Warren Buffett is that individual that America tout as the greatest investor in America. I was listening to Warren Buffett once, and he stated that somebody was asking him about, you know, how did he gain all this wealth? What did he do, or whatever like that? And Warren Buffett said that my key to success, the way I did this, is in the Bible. Just let that hang out there for a moment. Just like what you're saying here. He said in the Bible That's how he got to where he at with all his billions. So I'm going to give a little piece here to reinforce what you said. Warren Buffett, but I'm pretty sure all of your listeners are aware who Warren Buffett is, because like I said before, on this show, you have a lot of intelligent, audience. Warren Buffett, when they asked him what was the key to his success, he said the Bible. But now I want to show you exactly what he meant. Where in the Bible he was referring to. He was referring to Deuteronomy 8 and 18. But Deuteronomy is part of what? The books of Moses, the lawgiver, we mentioned earlier in the show. 5 books of Moses, the law. Deuteronomy 8 and 18, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant with he swore unto their father as to this day. That covenant, the house of Israel to be, salt to the nation. That is. That's exactly what you're talking about. So I'm saying that for us and our plight, we have to know that we are the gods. And like you're saying, the information that we need, we extract to benefit us, just like they did. They also used the Bible to justify slavery. Now we have to take it in our new consciousness, being free of the slave mind, and extract from it what we need. I mean, look, I never in all of my years heard this. Look, I got anointed Hebrew priest back in 2003. I was a Hebrew priest, anointed Hebrew priest up here in Jerusalem. After studying 7 years biblical scripture in Hebrew and English, the Talmud, the Mishnah, the Quran, all these other books, so much stuff, reading, going all around Israel, Egypt, tours and everywhere. But I can honestly admit, this got by me, bro. Seriously, I'm not embarrassed to say it, brother. Out of all that studying, it was Warren Buffett that told me about this Deuteronomy 8 and 18. It said, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that give thee power to get wealth. It is he that give you power to get wealth. But who's the God we talking about now? Talking about us. We don't want to interpret this as that there's something out there in the it's us. Who do you consider your God? That's where we're coming from. That's why this particular, sitting and when we talking, my objective is to get us to come to that realization who this God is. It's you. That's how I came to be. That's how I came into fruition, because you kept saying peace to the gods. And so now here we are. We're talking about in Deuteronomy 8 and 18, this guy became one of the biggest investors, you know what I'm saying, in the world. He said out of the Bible. That's to justify what you explained about extracting certain thing out of the book. They use it to justify slavery. We can use it to push our position that we are those gods. And we have the mind and ability to create and do as we see fit. Deuteronomy 8 and 18, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for he is he that give power to get wealth. And on the flip side of that, what does it say? Some people say money is the root of all evil. That's on that other mentality, where they interpret to think that being poor gets you closer to the Creator. But my man, Reverend Frederick D. Ike Coder, better known as Reverend Ike, he said, money ain't money is not the root of all evil. He said the only thing evil about money is the lack of it, because when you ain't got no money, you'll do some evil things. So, we can spend this all kind of ways to fit any type of scenario. That's why I am endeavoring to put you into that consciousness of knowing that you are a God. So the information that you will see will benefit you being just that, to where in your powers and abilities is you will be able to make these changes upon the face of the earth that everybody talk about. Everybody talk about. And then in your thoughts is where this creative process began. In your mind. That's how this began. Your thoughts. It's like sometimes you're like, man, I don't know, how I'm gonna do this. All you have to do is stop and think about it. Use the power of your mind. We done went through this Willie Lynch document here real strong. And just the last few little lines is Hinckley Berry, speaking in Virginia House of Delegates in 1832, described the situation as it existed in many parts of the South at his time. We have, as far as possible, closed every avenue by which light may enter the slave's mind. And we understand he's saying that we have, as far as possible, closed every way in which the slaves can become intelligent. If we could extinguish the capacity to see the light, if we could stop the way, any way for them to become intelligent, our work would be completed. They would then be on a level with the beast of the field, and we would be safe. I'm not certain that we would not do it if we could find out the process of that on the plea of necessity. And this was taken from Brown America, the Story of the New Race by Edwin D. Embry, 1931 Viking Press. So that's it. We've gone through the Willie Lynch, Let's Make a Slave. And I hope that those brothers and sisters that heard this, it was 2 parts, would go themselves and read it and understand it, and then begin to watch themselves from this mode of thinking. When you read and hear and see what they say they wanted the slaves to do, all you got to do is just the opposite, and you be good. Don't think like that. Don't do that. Don't allow yourself to function under this particular mindset. Let's make a slave. The original development of a social being called the Negro. Don't be a Negro. All of these things that we've gone over here, make sure that you're not one that are fulfilling this. Sisters, it was the male image been destroyed. Your brothers, you don't see that strong, beautiful Nubian king trouncing and treading and caring for the family and being a great role model for the children like you should. Yeah, you see some athletes, and then but why is it that you see it seems like it's been kind of lately regular that a lot of our brothers, especially football players, are always caught up in some balagans, some foolishness, and then they just won't let the brother, go out with a real positive, image. Like you mentioned, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey was flying high for a season when he made the movie, Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, something like that. He was flying high. And then next thing you know, they threw him to the ground. And so what other brothers do we have that's some solid, brothers we see, outside of entertainment and sports that we can point at? We got Denzel Washington, a whole bunch of brothers out there and sisters doing things, but that's the same gang, entertainment and sports. But do we hear real intelligent brothers that's talking to your mind, that's giving you understanding of how to deal with things. Like I just saw these police deal with the 5-year-old son. That everybody was up in there because the cop put the handcuffs on him. I watched that whole thing, and to me, what I kind of felt like is the cops was more or less acting like scared straight, cause they never said they took the boy and put him in jail. But what I saw, the cop put the handcuff on one of his arm, turned him around, and he kept asking, "Do you want this?" And the mother was saying things, but it wasn't no, the sister was raising the son by herself, and he was acting out because of what? I don't know. We don't know all the details of what the sister got to deal with, but I'm certain, she had to deal with a lot on her own, trying to raise a young son. And so he was acting out for whatever reason. And the cops, everybody was upset. Oh, they put the handcuffs on the boy. But I remember when they used to have this thing come on the TV, this show called Scared Straight. They would send these children, bad children, to prison and let them talk with the prisoner hollering and screaming at their face, trying to get them to change their ways. But nevertheless, our sisters, they precious unto me, and I love them. Even though, they may be doing what they're doing. The reason why you don't hear me get down dirty on the sisters is because I know what they're having to deal with, bro. I do. I know what they're having to deal with. And the brothers, the same thing. You got a lot of good brothers that's trouncing and treading, taking care of business. They're just quietly doing it. They ain't all out front and yada, yada, whatever. They focus. They doing what they do. They working. They handling them bills. They managing them families. And they get absolutely zero coverage. But they all right. It ain't no big deal because they locked and loaded and focused on what they got to do to take care of the sisters they with, to take care of their family and make it happen. They ain't necessarily needing a lot of credit. I remember one time I was in Chicago. We were shopping at Whole Foods, me and the sister I was shopping with that day. And I saw a brother looked like it was a family. He had one of the children up on his shoulder and the other one walking and a sister with him. And they had the buggy full of food. And we're at the checkout coming. So I'm standing there with my sister and I'm looking at the brother. And to me, it looked like a family. So I went over. I said, "Hey, my brother, how you doing?" He said, "Hey, I'm all right, my brother." And so he looked like, "What's up?" I said, "Is this your family?" He said, "Yeah." "That's your wife and kids?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Can I shake your hand?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "What's up? What's this for?" I said, "I just want to say thank you, brother. Thank you. Because I don't see this much. A brother rolling around with all his children, his wife, shopping. You don't see that a lot. But on them other families, you see that." And so I'm like, where are my brothers at? They're dealing with the thing. They dealing with. I went over and shook the brother's hand. I said, "Thank you, man, for being a father, a husband." And the sister, she was happy. She says, "Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, because you don't see that much. They concentrating on destroying the male image, and they're doing a great job. And our sisters all twisted out of shape, having to be the mother, the father, the daddy, and then the little 5-year-old son, he acted out for whatever reason. When you dig deeper down into it, it ain't he's a bad guy. It's something he responding to. It's something he responding to. I know another young son, he grew up without his father, but he knew exactly where his father was at. How he came about was questionable, but he's a young man now, and he got his issues. And when I got to know him, everybody wanted to beat him up and everything. But when I got into it, found out that his mother raised him by herself, but he know where his biological father's at. And his biological father went over, got married to somebody, have a family, and have nothing to do with that son. And so the reason why he act the way he do today is because as a young son, he had to watch that, and he didn't have anyone there to help him manage through that. And so, boom, we see these situations all over the place, and it's by design. And we come back here to this document, and these bandits, they only wanted us to be their servant. You know, it's a reason. And so the reason why I wanted to share this information, this here document, Let's Make a Slave, is to begin to give us some understanding as to why. You know, so our people can, you know, we can like, you know, wait a minute now, hold up, stop, calm down. It's you know, it's wait a minute, hold it. Understanding, even in the Bible again, it said what? With all you get what? Get you an understanding. And so this is what we're talking about. Understand why is it like that? You know, ain't nothing wrong with black folks. Ain't nothing wrong with Nubian brothers and sisters. We responding to a situation that most of us wasn't even aware of. This here mental programming. We didn't know this. Some of the people here, they never heard of this. Some of them have, some of them haven't. But then for to come here to your show and listen to somebody read it to you and compare, you know, it helps us to understand. You know, and so
that's a fact.
That's all there is to it. You know, I don't want to you know, have anybody misunderstand it, but you know, we got to get into this. I know it takes the time, you got to go through it, and if you ever expect it, you know, get beyond it, you have to know what it is. The hardest enemy to defeat is the invisible one, and this is an invisible program that's been running in our minds for centuries, and we got to get past it and get back to the mind that we're created to have. That's the point.
Just start with self.
That's the point.
Absolutely. So, it definitely starts with self.
Yeah. I hope that you know, I've said something to help our people to see better, see ourselves, and to love each other as we know, you know, we can be loved, man. It ain't nothing like black love. You know, ain't nothing like, you know, I used to sell incense here in Israel, and we had an incense called Black Love. It was the most sold incense. Got all the incense
everybody
on the street.
Yeah. No matter the color, everybody want black love.
Yeah, you know.
Everybody needs that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Ain't nothing like black love, bro. You know, it used to be, you know, Shakur, Ahava Shkora. Ahava is love. Ahava is love. Shakur is black. Shakur. Ahava Shkora. That was the name of the incense. I used to be out there. Kitore, Oreakto, Rechot Neimim, Ahava Shkora, Kokas, Tube Divine. I used to be out there, bro, selling them incense. And black love was the number one jump out the box. 12 for 10 shekels. Ain't nothing like black love. So,
yeah, what's that smell? That's that black love.
That's the black love is ready to buy it up, boy. They snatch it out the box before you get to it, man. You know, but my people, man, I'm so exceedingly happy to have been born a Nubian king, man. I mean, could you imagine if I was born David or Billy? I'd be in the gym looking like they were looking today, all crazy, conflicted, doing dumb stuff. I could have been like that. It ain't nothing, man. It ain't nothing greater than a beautiful, delicious Nubian queen, and to see the king and queen rolling together, man, in harmony. You know, that's what we have to get to on a broader scale, where our sisters come out and really, really be pushing and supporting the brothers publicly. Now, you know, mind you, we know that's not their objective, and we know they want to show images like, you know, the brother, you know, destroyed the male image and anything that works to their favor. And you see how some of the entertainment industry has gotten when it comes to that. I mean, what's big? Nicki Minaj, Cardi B.
Yeah.
You know, all these really degenerative, derogative, negative, terrible images for our people to look at. Blockbusters, millions and millions of views, a lot of money, fame and fortune, saying something completely stupid. But that's why we here, brother. And I had a good time. Bro. I feel good. Feel real good.
As always.
I'm thankful to you. And I just want to ask the listeners to support the platform, the Cash App, OC the Great TV, so that we can keep hearing this incredible information. And the document that I was reading from was the Willie Lynch, Let's Make a Slave. I got it off of the Final Call website, finalcall.com news. We can go to Final Call, and it's the Willie Lynch letter, The Making of a Slave. And so this is the plan and the intricate programming that they executed upon our people. And it worked. It has been working for hundreds of years. And that's what we've been working on. We working on cleansing our minds so that we can reconnect back to our inner. Okay.
You know what, brother?
Yeah.
I feel like we need a different book now. I feel like we need something like The Making of a Runaway Slave. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what we need. We need a balance. So we need a reverse to what's going on today. So I feel like we need to come up with some type of programming to really get us out of that state of mind. Making of a runaway slave. You know what I'm saying?
So
yeah, I feel like we need to come up with a deprogramming, detoxing, type of thing.
But you said that, and I'm looking right here. An idea came to my mind as to how that could be done. He says in the document, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slave. A book could be written. I have a foolproof method for freeing your black slave's mind. This says, let's make a slave. And then it says the making of a slave. The book could be written, the freeing of a slave mind. And so it could be written as the polar opposite of this. So if he lay out that, the cardinal principle for making a Negro, then we can lay out the cardinal principle for freeing a brother, the sister mind. And all this crossbreed. Yeah, everything just convert it back. So if you're talking about, languages and teaching them how to destroy all these points that he broke out here, a book can be written to put out just the opposite.
Kind of like how Malcolm X did.
Yeah, exactly.
Malcolm X was able to read the dictionary, you know what I mean? And everything that he said was like, I wonder if I could just reverse it and put it in the right way. Like, for example, like we talked about the word black, even in the dictionary, it just means something evil, and everything in the dictionary. Like, if I was to take it just like Malcolm X did and just kind of push it in the right direction, because we know that a lot of these people, a lot of these entities, they would tell you something and tell you a lie. They'll tell you something that's good, and really they flip around and say that it's bad, or same vice versa. If it's bad, they flip around and tell you that it's good, So to put it to reverse, I like to say reverse engineer, all of these train of thoughts and put it in the right direction where it needs to go. I feel like that's what we should be doing, just like what Malcolm X did before he became fully conscious, So, but yeah.
Exactly. We
Mm-hmm.
I just pull up this Willie Lynch document on the final call because it's easy. You can find it online, different places, but the final call just got it, the entire letter there. You know, that's why I use it. That one. But yeah, it's online. You can get it. Yeah. So anyway, that's the thought for tonight. And again, appreciate it, bro. And I'm really encouraging the people to donate. Don't function on the slave mind. Let's support the platform. You know, I mean, you got that $1,000, go on and drop it in the cash app. $2,000, but whatever you can assist to help keep the platform going will be greatly appreciated. And we don't want to be looking, we went over that mentality now. And so we're not going to function on that mentality. But I appreciate it, great brother.
You're good.
It's 5:11 in the morning. I appreciate it. And more information.
You're a soldier. You be standing all type of hours. You're a soldier. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's the love I have for my people, and I'm passionate about it because this is who we are, man. I know us, man. I can't say it enough. I know us. I know who we are. And we coming out different. We're not trying to, create an organization. We're not trying to start a movement. We're not doing it anything like what's been done. We want to give the information to empower the thought process so that we can use this mind in a level that we haven't been introduced to for quite some time. That's all this is about. We don't need to be a big organization, movement, making a whole bunch of sound. It's just thought. It's just thought. So anyway, oh man, I had a great time, brother. I enjoyed it. Can't thank you enough. I got another subject, we can get together on at another time. But I love my people. That's just all it is to it. I love my people all the way around the board. And I just want to see us get back and, get back to where we're supposed to be. And we are, this thing ain't over with. This is the beginning. We're in the age of Aquarius, and that's the age of enlightenment. And we're going to move in this manner that, we're going to be invisible. Hardest enemy to fight is invisible enemy. We don't need to be out there making a whole bunch of noise and throwing up smoke and trying to tell everybody what the plan is, the agenda. We're not going that way. We got enough history. We got enough lesson on how they work, what they do, and all of that. And so being that we're experienced with this guy, we should now know how to defeat him real easy. We got more time with this creature than anybody in the America except the Native Americans. And so at this point, we should be white man master. We should be able to think and know what they're going to do, know what they're thinking about before they even do it. Because in this document, it said, learn to watch them with keen eyes. And so our people now at this point, we should be, hey, lay us out a plan, keep your mouth shut, plan your work and work your plan. Next thing you know, kaboom. Like what? What they doing? It ain't all, I'm not that type of brother that's looking to, be a leader or head of an organization or a group. I just need my people to get this information so we can go and do and be who we supposed to be. We can do that. It's just that simple. So anyway, that's going to be it enough for me. Again, thank you, bro. I'm going to lay my head down a few minutes and get me a little red-eye so I can get up tomorrow and do what I need to do.
No problem, brother. No problem, brother. We appreciate you. Now I don't know if you want to end it out because you started some the very first show. How you ended out with a prayer, things like that. Not sure if you want to do that tonight again. You know. So
Yeah,
but yeah.
I could do that prayer. It was, nice little prayer in Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Because it's the power in the tongue. You know?
I'll say a nice little short prayer in Hebrew, and then okay. Avinu asher nim sabat shemayim. Elohei Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov. El Shaddai El Elyon. Hu shebekarmanu makol ha'amim asher al panei ha'adama lihiyo tikulato. Ein beinka, ein chimucha. Mi yakol amo nikdech Yahweh baru lanu af echad. Gam Yahweh baru lanu. She'anu rak yeladim. Baru lanu Yahweh chayavim laz lekabel ezra mimcha. Baru lanu Yahweh. Efshar לעשות שום דבר לבד. זאת הסיבה. אנו מבקשים בכל הניוודים, כל הלב. אנא יהוה, תעזור לנו להיות חזקים, להצליח נגד שטן. נא יהוה, תעזור לנו להצליח נגד שטן. אבא, בבקשה, בכל הניוודים, כל הלב, תעזור לנו להיות להצליח נגד שטן. בכל הניוודים, כל הלב, יהוה, אנו מבקשים, הנה ילדיך, תעזור לנו, כי אנו רוצים להיות ילדים שאתה יהיה שמח לומר, הנה ילדים שלי. רוב תודות אליך, יהי הזדמנות לפתוח את הפה שלי, להתפלל אליך מאוד תורה. אין מילה להגיד תורה מספיק. עם כל הלב, יהוה. רוב תודות אליך. Selah. I, in Hebrew, the Holy Tongue, beseeched upon the Holy One of Israel to assist us at being successful against the evil one. I explained that we are his children, and we know that we cannot be successful by ourselves. And this is why I'm asking in all humility to assist us to be successful against the evil one. That you would be proud. That you would be proud. Gehe is proud. That you would be proud to say that here are my children. That you would be proud to say here are my children. And then thank them for allowing us the opportunity to know them, him and her. Selah, ended the prayer. I say he and her because we do have a mother goddess that is never spoken about. Our mother, who is the goddess that he was speaking to when he said, let us make man in our image. The image was male and female, Adam, Chava. So yes, he was speaking to our mother. Okay. All right.
Appreciate you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome, great brother.
All right, brother. You're always welcome to the platform. whatever you want to, whatever you feel in your mind, feel in your heart that you would like to speak out about and teach us, you're welcome. So absolutely. All right. Well, I'll let you go to sleep, man. I know. All right.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Yeah. And peace to you guys. Peace
When
to you
you
guys.
speak to Master J again, just tell him I said shalom, okay?
Absolutely. And he watches this show, by the way. So, he definitely watches it. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna hear you. But absolutely. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to talk about him because Master J is the physical representation of the spirit of many of our people. He brought it all into a physical form. And anybody that don't understand about that, they just don't understand it. But Master J came from us, just like, yeah, sure, it was a time that we needed a physical representation of what we was feeling. So I'm happy everybody got the function and they calling, and that's the calling that Master J was moved to do, and that's it. All right, brother. Have a good night. Lila Tove means good night. Lila Tove, and it's in the morning here 5:20. That's Boker Tove, and I'm gonna have to cut it off tonight, man. I'm really happy, and we'll talk to you next time.
No problem.
All right, shalom, shalom.
Peace to God.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom.
All right, peace to God. Shalom.
Yep. All right. Again, we was blessed with the brother, with the OG coming through with a lot of great knowledge. So it's important for us to talk about, our mindsets and how it's going and the way that it's going. And the fact that it's actually set in place is some things that was actually in place to force our mind to think in a certain way. So the Willie Lynch theory is in play. It's full effect. So, if we look at it like a playbook or with football or any other sport, it's certain plays that's been full force put in play, Now it's up to us what type of defense that we would like to put up against that, So coming up with the idea of reading the Willie Lynch theory and then flipping it around to get your mindset out of that should be the move, And one thing that someone mentioned, and you should know for a fact that I'm working on is unity. Because one thing that was mentioned in the Willie Lynch letter, I like to say the Willie Lynch theory, but the Willie Lynch letter was the fact that basically said if you divide them, you could conquer their mind. So turning the young against the old, the mother against the father, males versus females and all that stuff. I would like to get away from that. You know what I'm saying? So if we reverse engineer those thoughts, we can move into the right direction. You know what I mean? So we have to re-cleanse our mind. We have to rewash our mind. You have to go backwards just to go forward again in the right way. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to tackle that. And yes, share the platform. Share the knowledge. I give you guys permission to take cuts out of this video and share it. Share the information. This information is for everyone. So take cuts out of this video if you want to. Share it on different platforms. Just put it out there. It's needed. The people need it. The children need it. This is a clean platform. So you can play this to the children. You can play this to the children. They can learn as well. So they're not too young to hear positive information and good information. They have to grow it. We have to sow seeds and watch it grow. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely a Willie Lynch document. So at this point, I'm just gonna read the comments I missed. I want to respond to another sister that said I said something wrong about, or we said something wrong about King James, and someone mentioned that that maybe it was a black King James that's getting confused with the white King James. You know, I would say this, that if it is some type of confusion, if it's an actual white King James and it's a melanated King James, I'm just saying, hey, I'm just talking about the King James version of the Bible. So whoever wrote it, I would say, me personally, I would say both, because I don't see two different versions of the King James. I just see the King James. And then when I look it up, you know, and I read some of the passages in the King James Bible, some of the stuff is off to me. It's like, how could someone actually agree to what this is saying? But then there's other stuff, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I can see that. That's lit, you know. So I'm just saying, you know, I'm gonna say both, the white and the black. You know what I mean? But I don't want to get into semantics or anything like that. I'm just going off of how the book is actually written. You know, the King James version. You know, I can only assume that even if the person was black, that he was instructed by some other individuals that didn't have the right of way of where our mind should go as a people. You know what I'm saying? And why change the Bible anyway? You know, why it can't be the God version? Why I gotta be King James? Why I gotta be the New Testament? Why I gotta be so many different versions of the Bible? Why it just can't be the Bible? You know, I just want to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just wanted to say that. And yeah, I'm just reading comments, people showing love. I appreciate it. And like I say, you know, show more love. Just share the platform. Share the platform to people so we can really, really get it in. Now, in the future, we're going to have other speakers. You know, I'm actually thinking about having a actual Christian speaker to actually come on the platform so we can actually conversate and talk about different things. Not to debate or anything, you know, just to conversate. I know about this one Christian speaker. He really believed that everyone in the Bible is black. You know, and in fact, we go a little wrong and we lose some of the youth when we actually say, oh, color doesn't matter, you know, because there's a lot of people that actually say that. But then there's other people I want to bring on the platform as well. You know, and just on the channel itself, there will be some other content. You know, like I say, I'm bringing in unity. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of different looking people in our communities that's actually righteous and have like a good mind where we should go as a people. But for some reason, like because we consider ourselves conscious, we start to judge different people that look different. We start to judge the sister with the weave in her head. We start to judge the brother that look like this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So we all come from different backgrounds. Nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? But we should be moving together in the right direction. All right. So, you know, we're going to get it in. And I appreciate y'all for hanging on, you know, for almost 2.5 hours. That's love. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but yeah, I'm going to read some comments. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, you know, in a second. You know what I mean? So let's see. Somebody said the Queen James version. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't even think they were showing love to women like that to even call it the Queen James version. So, you know, their version of a king may be different than what we think of today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, you know, I just leave it like that. You know, but yeah. So a lot of love. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. You know what I mean? Go ahead and shut it down. You know, like I say, I share the platform, hit the cash out, stuff like that. So, cause you know, cash out, it will definitely support everything that I'm doing. You know, so if I want to go on a roll, I can definitely go on a roll and do things, interview different people, get certain things, better camera, better equipment, you know, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, just showing love to the platform. Everything is appreciated. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, So yeah. Peace to the guys. You know, y'all have a good night or a good AM wherever you from. I saw somebody from China. That's love, you know. So peace to the guys, and always remember, you know, it starts with you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave you with this. Actually, you know, when I found out that I was a guy, you know, when I found out, when I kept on praying and nothing happened. The only time something happened is when I actually got up and did for myself. That's when I realized, I'm like, you know what? I might as well pray to myself, because that's the only how something's gonna happen. And I'm gonna leave you with that. All right. So peace to guys. More love.
Yeah. They insured the ships, they paid for the whips, they funded the expeditions, they paid for the trips, and they talk about genocide, they funded our Holocaust, they screaming out Mazel Tov from throwing the Molotov. Hit you in your noggin, now your yarmulke falling off. It's Yahweh or the highway, you'll be dead when the shot is spark. When the shots hit your chest, it'll burn like Bacardi Dark. Return to the Falasha, kill the white Jew imposter, because you lack the matzah to deal with my people proper. Now you gon' have to deal with this bleeping shotgun, the slumlord. The moment you see me, you know you done for. You even see my face on your TV, you better run for it. The evil Hebrew, unequal, you claim to be the chosen people. The wrath of God come to see you. No respect for Israel, you criminal, set the colony. You hate me cause I'm speaking the truth. You try to silence me.
I believe in my God and in my God. And you say, well, you don't really believe in God. If you believe in the God, I believe in God and my God.